When we hear B vitamins, most of us immediately think about energy, right? But it turns out some of them are doing way more than that. They are literally building, powering, and protecting our brains. So we're going to get specific and find out which of these Bs are the real heavy hitters for your mind. So there are 8 B vitamins in the family, and this is the key, they are not all created equal when it comes to your brain. 4 of them, just 4, are absolutely crucial for everything from your mood to your memory. The question is, which 4 are they?
All right, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll get to know the whole B vitamin family. Then, we'll see how they act as the brain's power-up crew. After that, we'll zoom in on those 4 critical brain Bs. We'll also talk about what happens when you run low, and of course, how to fuel up for better focus.
Okay, let's start with the big picture. All B vitamins are what we call water-soluble. Now, all that really means is your body doesn't hang on to them for very long. You've got to get them from your food pretty regularly. And they all share one big important job. They act as coenzymes. So what on earth is a coenzyme? Well, think of it this way. Imagine an enzyme is a construction worker ready to do a job. The B vitamin is the key to the ignition on their bulldozer. Without that key, the worker just stands there. The machine doesn't start. And that job, whether it's turning your lunch into brain fuel or repairing your DNA, it just doesn't get done. And, hey, if you're keeping count, you might be wondering, wait, where are vitamins B4, B8, B10, and B11? Well, they were kind of like the Plutos of the vitamin world. Scientists eventually figured out they didn't quite meet the definition of a vitamin, so they got kicked out of the club. Just a little piece of nutritional trivia for you. So how does this whole family work together to help out your brain? Well, while each B vitamin has its own special assignment, as a team, their main goal is to keep our entire nervous system humming along smoothly. And they're doing a lot. They're the ones turning the carbs you eat into glucose. That's pure, high-octane fuel for your brain. They're helping build neurotransmitters, which are basically the text messengers that control your mood and thoughts. And they even help make the red blood cells that deliver oxygen to your brain. I mean, without this team, your brain is basically offline. Okay, so while all 8 B vitamins are important, our sources all point to 4 that are just on another level when it comes to your brain. These are the ones where if you're running low, the impact on your thinking and mood can be direct and, honestly, pretty serious. Let's meet the heavy hitters. First up is vitamin B1. You might also know it as thiamine. And check out its nickname, the energy releaser. That's for a very good reason. It's essential for creating the main energy molecule that powers every single cell in your brain. It's not like energy, it is energy. You see, B1 is absolutely critical for making something called ATP. Just think of ATP as the currency of your cells. It's what they spend to get anything done. That's why B1 is so closely tied to concentration and memory. And if you have a serious shortage, it can lead to some really severe neurological issues, including confusion and major memory loss. So where can you get it? The great thing is you don't need a ton of it, but you do need it consistently. Things like pork chops, trout, and even a half a cup of black beans are fantastic sources to keep your brain's energy levels topped off. All right, next on our list, vitamin B6, or pyridoxine. Now, if B1 was all about energy, B6 is all about communication. This vitamin is the master builder for your brain's chemical messaging system. Seriously, B6 is the key ingredient your brain needs to make serotonin, which helps with mood, dopamine for motivation, and GABA, which helps you feel calm. It even helps build the protective coating around your nerves. So it's really no surprise that if you're low on B6, it can show up as things like irritability, depression, or confusion. And the good news is B6 is pretty easy to find in foods we eat all the time. Look at this. A single cup of chickpeas gives you a huge amount. Yellowfin tuna and roasted chicken breast are also excellent ways to make sure your brain has all the building blocks it needs to communicate effectively. Our third heavy hitter is vitamin B9, which you've probably heard of as folate. I want you to think of this one as the architect and the maintenance crew for the very structure of your brain, right down to your DNA. Folate's job is fundamental. It helps make and repair our DNA. This is why it is absolutely non-negotiable during pregnancy. It helps prevent serious birth defects in the developing brain. But its job doesn't stop there. For all of us, having healthy folate levels is linked to protecting against age-related cognitive decline. It's important for your whole life. And this one is pretty easy to find in a healthy diet. The name folate actually comes from the Latin word for foliage, so it makes sense that you find it in leafy greens like spinach and kale, as well as fruits and all kinds of legumes. And that brings us to our final crucial brain B, vitamin B12, also called cobalamin. This one is the nerve protector. If B6 helps build the protective myelin sheath around your nerves, B12 is the one that maintains it, making sure your entire nervous system is properly insulated and firing on all cylinders. Okay, this one is a really big deal. B12 is absolutely vital for keeping those nerve coverings healthy. A deficiency here isn't just a minor issue. It can cause irreversible brain and nerve damage. We're talking memory loss and serious cognitive problems. This is definitely not a vitamin you want to ignore. Now here's the crucial thing to know about B12. Look at where it comes from. It's found almost exclusively in animal products. This means if you follow a strict vegetarian or vegan diet, you have to be incredibly mindful about getting enough B12, usually through fortified foods or a supplement. You know, the importance of these vitamins is never clearer than when you don't have enough of them. And it is so important to know the difference between the warning signs, especially for two deficiencies that can look dangerously similar at first glance. Okay, look at this closely because this is so important. A deficiency in either B9 or B12 can cause the exact same type of anemia. But here's the critical difference. Only the B12 deficiency leads to those severe neurological symptoms, the nerve damage. Mistaking one for the other isn't just a simple mistake. It could have lifelong consequences for your brain health. And get this, 2.4 micrograms. That's it. That's the recommended amount of B12 an adult needs per day. It's a microscopic amount, but as we just saw, the consequences of not getting that tiny speck are absolutely massive. It's just a powerful reminder of how much these little micronutrients matter. So this all leaves us with a pretty important question to think about. We're always thinking about feeding our bodies, right? Feeding our muscles, watching our waistline. But how often do we stop and ask, am I feeding my brain? Are you actually giving it the specific fuel it needs, that B1, B6, B9, and B12, to really, truly thrive?